Hey everyone, how's it going? Azren, the language nerd here, as per usual. Different background than usual. I'm in the basement today. Way more interesting, maybe, than the usual background from the kitchen where I'm normally sitting. And today, I want to make a little bit of a bittersweet video. Kind of sweet, kind of bitter. I think there's a little bit more sweetness, but still, regardless, I think it's still a bittersweet kind of video. So I have some news, a little bit of bad news, and then a bunch of, I think, good news. So let's start with the bad news first. So bad news is a lot of the free classes I've been doing in a recorded fashion on this YouTube channel. For those of you who are new or maybe don't know what I'm talking about, we have an A1 French course that's on my YouTube channel, and there's kind of a beginner A1 Spanish course that is on this YouTube channel. Those two classes are going to be paused indefinitely. So there's not going to be any content added to those channels there. The reality is there's just a lot of things going on in my world, just a lot of things at work, a lot of projects, a lot of things on my plate. And I was just looking at it today and I thought, I can't dedicate the amount of time and energy that I would need to properly dedicate in order to do these projects well in a way that I'm really happy with them and proud of them. And so as of right now, I just need to hit pause on those indefinitely. I might start them up later, but for the time being, those have got to pause. The note files for the classes are still available. All of the videos that I've made so far, they are still available. Those are still accessible to everyone, but the actual videos and continuing them and really building out kind of a course in that fashion, unfortunately, that's going to be something that's paused for the time being. In fact, funnily enough, I haven't even, if you're watching this around the date that I'm recording it, which is April 9th, 2020, you may have even noticed that this is the first video on the YouTube channel, period, in at least 4 weeks, something like that, which is extremely bizarre for me and unlike me. I'm usually quite active with content and everything. And that's one of the reasons. It's just the whole course is sitting on my mind and I'm going, man, I have to do it, but I'm not in the right mindset. And so for the time being, we're going to hit pause. However, I've got some good news. I actually wrote, for the first time ever, some notes for this video. I usually don't write notes, but I wanted to make sure I get this out properly. The good news is there's actually a lot of good news. So there is some bitter stuff there that I'm not happy with, but there's a lot of good stuff here that I want to talk about, which I'm very, very excited about. And I think a lot of you guys are going to like as well. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome for a bunch of you, I think. Hey, Tessa, I see you in the chat, by the way. I appreciate all the attention you give to the videos and all my content. I see you on all the platforms. So here's some of the good news. Number one, even though these recorded videos are being put on pause, we have been hosting some free online live classes for English, French, Spanish, German, and Mandarin. So I'll say that again. We have free online live classes on a weekly basis for English, French, Spanish, Mandarin, and German. In fact, a little bit of a sneak peek, there's a chance we're going to throw in a Thai one coming up soon. Who knows if that'll be long term? Who knows how that plays out? But we got a request from someone who wants to run a Thai group and give it a shot. So we're going to try. So that's pretty cool as well. And we're doing some of these live online lessons that are, you can actually see me. I can see you. Like, it's just like a real class, except on the computer. Super, super easy. I see Tess on the chat who says they're awesome. I love it. Super easy to access, super easy technologically wise. Like, they're awesome. We have a conversation portion for people who are more advanced or intermediate. We have a beginner portion for people who are maybe more on the beginner side and want to develop some vocabulary and get introduced to the language. It's really, really cool. We've done these in person in my city for a number of years, and now due to this whole coronavirus, we have shifted them online, and we're learning how to do these online. And so far, they've been pretty good. I think we're just going to get better over time. And my hope is that we run these for the long term. That's my hope. We're going to run them for as long as we can, and as long as we can do them well, and as long as people are attending, and as long as people are interested, we're going to do our best. They're really awesome in our city, and I think they're going to be really awesome online too. Cross my fingers. We'll see how they play out. So that's something that's really exciting. By the way, if you do want information on that or anything else I say in this video, I've put an email address in the link below, in the description below, excuse me. It is info@azrenthelanguagenerd.com. I'll say that again, info@azrenthelanguagenerd.com. You're going to see that in the email, in the description below, or you can just email that directly. If you want information on where you can access those classes, those free ones online, just email. Super happy to send those over to you. And yeah, so that's a really exciting thing that's on the sweeter side of things and not so much on the bitter side of things. So even though we're kind of canceling the recorded stuff, we have these really, really good live things we're doing. Okay. Good news number 2. This is another new thing that I've been working on in my effort to provide, as much, and basically my effort to give as much as I can to the whole language learning community online. The other thing I've been doing is we've put together some free language learning advice sessions where we can start to work through your language learning strategy. I've been realizing more and more just how many people struggle to know what kinds of steps they should take in order to learn whatever language. They just can't quite figure it out. So we've been doing it on Instagram Live a couple of times. That's where I started to test it a little bit and play with it. I've done a couple on Google Hangouts with a couple of people. We've got a few recorded, in fact, which I'm going to post to this YouTube channel so you guys can see kind of what they look like and what we're working on. So you will get to see those shortly. I have recorded 3 at the moment. I'm likely going to post all 3 of them. I haven't quite decided, but there's 3 that are recorded. So that's a really cool thing that we're doing. I think that's going to help people. I've been doing that quite frequently. I have quite a few this week. And that's just, as I said, in an effort for me to give more to the language learning community, get more face time with people to help you with your language learning strategy, to figure out kind of what kinds of steps you should be taking. I'm pretty damn good at that kind of stuff. And I'm only going to get better over time, to be honest. So that's a second thing that I'm doing, and I'm pretty, I'm really, really excited. So if that's something you want to look into, email me. As I said, email is below, info@azrenthelanguagenerd.com. The other way you could actually look into those, if you want to skip a step, actually, I should have put the link, but it's okay. I'll just say it, and you'll have to type it in or write it down. The other option is if you go to Calendly.com. Actually, even easier, go to azrenthelanguagenerd.com. Again, azrenthelanguagenerd.com. The moment that you're on the homepage, in the bottom right-hand corner, you're going to see a little tiny pop-up. If you click that little pop-up, I believe it says chat with me or something to that effect. Click that. It's going to open up a scheduling page, and you'll be able to schedule directly right then and there. So that's going to be really, really good. So that is project number 2, German, potentially even some Mandarin. Now, I'll be honest, I get very awkward when it comes to promoting any paid services directly in front of, when it's to the masses. I don't like, I'm quite averse to promoting things that are paid or that cost money in a public fashion like this, in a YouTube video or in a post, like buy this. I'm very uncomfortable with that. I'm way more comfortable selling in a one-on-one environment when I'm just with you privately and I'm looking at you and we're talking, or if we're texting. I'm way more comfortable in that environment because, I know your situation and I know the stuff that I'm recommending is the stuff that's right for you. It's like, hey, I'm talking to you. I'm looking you in the eye. I'm looking at you in the face. I can see how this is kind of the thing that it would be right for you. So I'm a little hesitant to talk about these online group classes. It's just not, I don't feel comfortable, but let's talk about them anyway, because I think it'll help people. We're pretty good at teaching. Like myself, the teachers who work for me, we're reasonably good. And we've now that we've figured out with this coronavirus, we figured out how to run classes online. And we figured out how to run group classes online in a reasonably, actually very effective manner. We're getting better and better every day. And, you know, our pricing is cheaper than a lot of other places where you find group classes. It's quite affordable. Now, for certain countries, maybe not, but generally speaking, it's pretty affordable, the group classes that we're running. And so if you are interested in group classes, again, no obligation. As I said, I'm very uncomfortable selling when it's promoting things when it's like a big kind of to the masses. It's not my comfort zone, to be honest. I much rather prefer things that are 100% kind of in your interest, like free things, like projects that are like, just go do this, costs you nothing. It's 100% in your benefit, no real financial gain for me. I kind of prefer those when it's in a public medium, but regardless, email me if you are interested. We have group classes, English, French, Spanish, Mandarin, German. Those are kind of the main languages we can offer them for. Groups of 2 to 4 people. The cost can be, you know, we're keeping the cost pretty low. We're looking at, usually ends up being about $15 an hour, sometimes a little bit less. So it's a pretty good price point, I think. So again, if that does interest you, feel free to reach out, and that's something that we have as well. So yeah, and let me look at my notes here. Have I forgotten anything else? Yep, so we talked about that. And yeah, those are some of the, and last, I do have one more thing. Nah, it's okay. We'll keep that out. So yeah, those are kind of the main things I'm working on. And I think, as I said, Bittersweet, we got to cancel or pause rather some of the recorded classes for French and Spanish, which I'm not happy about. It bothers me to say it, but it's kind of where I'm at and I have to pause them. But then, you know, we got a lot of good news here. So with the free language strategy meetings, which I'm super excited about, that's going to be that one there is going to be amazing for people. The strategy meetings are going to make a big difference for people. I know the impact I can have when I'm with you one-on-one or even small group. I know that I can. The free online classes are going to be fun for people. It's going to be really, really good. You know, they've already been pretty good. We're just going to get better over time too, which I'm so excited about. We're going to get good at those. We're going to figure out, there's some stuff we have to figure out. There's some kinks and challenges and stuff that we've got to kind of hash out. But we're going to do it. It's going to be good. And then, yeah, those are the two main things. Then the online group classes, obviously, feel free to reach out. But I'll be honest, the main things I'm excited about right now for you guys, group classes are great, but I think the strategy meetings, that's accessible to everyone. The free online classes, that's accessible to everyone. And I think that can make a big, big difference for a lot of you. So more sweet than bitter, which I'm excited about. So yeah, appreciate your attention, guys. As I said, description below, info@azrenthelanguagenerd.com. That's the email to contact. Or you can just go directly to if you want to book a session, it's free, as I said. Just go to my website directly, azrenthelanguagenerd.com. It'll pop up right in the bottom right corner. You see it, you won't miss it. Just a tiny little blue bubble. Click it, boop, pops up. You'll see my calendar, and you can book that in. So, all right, everyone. Well, thanks again for listening. Yeah, we'll chat soon. Bye-bye. Hope you like the background, by the way, today.